redefine broadcasting is by bringing to you this very interesting program, Probono Chambers. If you look at the time, you see that we are 4 minutes into the 10 o'clock hour on this beautiful Monday morning, the 12th in the third month of the year 2018. My name is Ruth Usman. Thank you for joining me once again. And like I said, it's time for Probono Chambers. And it comes with a different kind of energy because I have in-house barrister staring at me in the face. Good morning to you, Adana.
Good morning, Ruth.
Okay. Just, it was a moment of
morning,
silence.
Ruth.
Thinking about what I don't know. But it's so good to see you here after an interesting weekend. How was it for you?
It was awesome.
It was? It wasn't short?
It was quite short, but
It is always short.
It's always short.
You want 3 days for weekend. You would not get
Maybe
it.
4 days.
Keep wishing. All right. So on Pro Bono Chambers, we always enlighten you on your rights. We empower you. Yes. So that, when you know your left from your right, you've got the power. You get to know who treats you how, and how you also go about treating your environment and the people around you as well. So it's all about anything and everything legal. If you have got questions that legally oriented, okay,
You're learning.
feel free to call in and you will get your answers, but that will be when we open up the phone line for that. But what we always do is to start by focusing on a particular area, after which you get to also call in and ask questions on it or add some other form of contribution or any other question at all. And it is Pro Bono Chambers. So once again, thank you for joining us. If you're listening to us from wherever you are in the world, you can find us streaming, everywhere. Like, I feel so international right now. How about you? I was hoping you would say something more international, more than the international that
I don't know why you feel international.
Universal.
What's so international about what you say?
Because we're on Facebook, YouTube, and hey, you can take us anywhere.
We're universally located.
You see, that's more international. That's more than the international that I said, and that's exactly what I was looking for. All right, so today is all about rights to potable water as a fundamental human right. Now, if we're talking about potable water, we're talking about clean water. We're talking about safe water,
adequate water supply,
and
unlimited supply of water.
So not just the existence of that in a particular place, but it should spread to wherever there are humans,
existing.
So here we are in Nigeria, and we want to talk about the rights of, to potable water as a fundamental human right. Of course, I think I remember one program about all those things about getting into the Guinness Book of World Record, where some man, this thing happened like some years back. I can't even remember right now, but then he was able to starve himself for, was it 3 weeks? I can't remember.
Without
food, but then
all
he had was water. Even at that, at the expiration of that, period of time, you could see how emaciated he was, weak and all that. He survived because there was water, and of course, oxygen had to be there.
Definitely,
because he was in a secluded place. And he was, why would people just do that?
Water is quite a very powerful symbol of human survival.
Wow.
So it carries a lot of ideas like baptism, new life, generation, productivity.
I think it's just
especially
next to life.
In Africa.
When we're talking about air, we need air but
even
then
healing,
even with
some dietitians will tell you to take lots of water.
Oh yeah.
I
think it's in
to lose
number
weight
one,
and have a good, healthy skin.
Detoxifying agent.
Yeah. So you can imagine how important water is. That's why we brought it to the light today to discuss on it becoming one of those fundamental human rights.
Even the legendary fella did say water, gets enemy. So even when it comes in the form of flood and other things, we still go for it. We love
Definitely.
it. Well, little wonder it is, one of the fundamental human rights of individuals. But in this our dispensation, we're not just focusing on this particular regime, but we know that in times before now, it's been a problem, and it still is for some people. I know we have covered some communities on our news bulletin for those who are listening to us, where they will say, "Oh, we don't have water. We buy from Merua," or they for some people maybe there's no access to the Merua in the first place, so they are just tied down to a certain stream in their neighborhood, and that stream is where herds, cows, cattle just pass by, drop their excretors,
get down to
pee,
talking about that,
and drinking and all that.
Like as it is in Africa, a lot of people share their water sources with animals, and it's quite unsafe, because if you share your water with animals, you're exposed to certain kind of diseases, some viruses and bacteria.
I mean, that goes without saying. For those who keep domestic animals at home, their food, containers are different. You don't even keep them anywhere close to yours. So imagine drinking from the same place with them too.
Yeah, and then some other people, before they can have access to waters like stream, they have to walk a distance to get that water, like you earlier mentioned, especially in the rural areas. And these waters pose to be unhealthy to them or unsafe for consumption, because there's no any form of treatments for such waters. Now, I used to remember those days when we're in school, we would pass close to tap waters and stand by to
just
drink from the tap water without having to be scared of any form of diseases or.
It really used to be fun. I mean, I did that. It was fun.
So, and then, naturally, the average consumption of water, especially for domestic usage, for every person, especially in Africa, it's between 10 to 20 liters. That's for domestic usage if you're managing because of its insufficiency.
Okay.
Now, for an average person as a human, you should consume up to 100 liters or even more, but because of its insufficiency in Africa, especially in Nigeria, you don't get to do away with that. You just have to deal with what you have available on ground. Now, water is a powerful symbol, like we talked about earlier. And then it's for you to exercise the right to water, the international organizations have not really, really recognized water as a human right, but rather they've recognized that, like independently, they've recognized that the right to water, it's an obligation of the state to supply to its citizens. So they've recognized the state's government to be obliged to supply its citizens with adequate source of clean and safe water. That's to ensure the adequate standard of living that is related to your right to life. So if the state should be saddled with the responsibility to ensure that you have a good standard of living, then right to life, right to a clean and safe water should be part of it, as well as your right to food, and right to employment and all that. Now, this is in our constitution classified as socio-economic rights. It's found under the Chapter 2 of the 1999 Constitution, where it's classified as the fundamental objective and directive principles of state policy. If you remember, one time we talked about it, and then we talked about its enforceability not feasible in Nigeria. So it's quite a very unique part of the Constitution, and that is where the right to water has fallen into. Now, environmental groups, they must begin to give awareness to a lot of people, to ensure that there won't be lack of safe drinking water in Nigeria, and then pressure should be put on state governments to ensure that this water is not only made sustainable for this generation, but that it's preserved for the upcoming generation. And I would also say that if people are robbed of their right to water, it should be seen as a violation of fundamental human rights, so that they can prosecute for such rights to be enforceable by states.
Okay, yeah. So what you're actually saying is that it's not enforceable.
It's not enforceable. It is not enforceable because of not being recognized under the fundamental human rights.
So we need some amendments. That's what it means.
Yes,
for it to move to where one can really fight for it and say, hey, this is my right.
Yeah.
And for you to be heard.
Exactly. We talked about it being a powerful symbol, recognized all over the world. The shortage supply or the lack of supply could even cause catastrophe or conflicts. I remember that, sometime billing by the water boards became very very highly difficult for persons to pay. The billing became a problem, just like the way we have with the power and electricity supply. Persons, found it difficult to pay their water bills, and in respect to that, their waters will be seized, and then they don't have access to good and safe water. They have to resort to the supply of water by rain, and then they relied on that for consumption and for their domestic usage, which is not safe, due to the changes in climatic environments. You can attest to that the underground water is not even safe for consumption, because of a lot of chemicals going down there and changes in the climatic weather and all of that. So a right to adequate water and supply for citizens would go a long way if exercised as a fundamental human right. So what we're talking about today is it's being, seen as part of our fundamental human rights, so that persons can prosecute if such rights are not enforced or if such rights are violated by the state government.
I mean, scientifically speaking, they say at least nothing less than 60% of the body's composition is made up of water.
Yeah,
so
I think 7.5 liters per day.
Yeah, so I mean, even though it varies from people's
engaged in
age,
all lots of
gender, and all that,
especially for adults.
But I mean, if you have more than 50% of, your entire being of water, and you don't have access to it, there's going to be a lot of trouble.
Definitely.
Okay, so we're going to push forward for the enforceability of this, really making it to stand out for a government to feel responsible. Though it's one of the things that many governments will come and tell, oh, we're going to provide water for you, we're going to do this and that.
It's always been like that.
Yeah, but then they never lived through to that.
Some governments wake up and build boreholes, and sometimes these boreholes are built very close to sewages, which still makes it
not be
unhealthy for consumption.
So it's not just about having it, but to ensure that it's also safe for drinking.
For consumption. That is why the right, it's of necessity, because it also upholds the right to life. So what we are talking about is not just your right to potable water, but for a safe and clean water which is used or consumed by persons and citizens in the country.
Well, I hope you have benefited from that information. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll open up the phone line for you to call in with your questions or further contributions on this. It's Probono Chambers on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. We'll be right back.
Human Rights Radio.
Kedu ife ịchọ? Ọ bụ ife eji esi nri, ọ bụ akwa na akpụkpọ ụkwụ, ka ọ bụ akpa ụmụ gị ji eje akwụkwọ na ife iji achọ mma? Gbalubia Halibis Mall, isi ụlọ ngwaahịa anyị dị na +660 Cadastral Zone B1, Franca Afegua Crescent Zone E, Apo Legislative Quarters, Gudu District, Abuja. Anyị nwekwara ụlọ ngwaahịa anyị ọzọ na number 1 Medical Center Road, Maraba, Abuja. Nke ikpeazụ bụ na number 21 Sariki Meizabo Road, opposite FMC, Kefi, Nasarawa State. Gwa anyị na ekwentị. Akara ekwentị ị ga-eji nweta anyị bụ 08159. Ka mkpọkwa ya n'olu ndị iti 08159510000. Halibis Mall nwere ife niile ị chọrọ n'ofu ebe. Ngwaahịa anyị adịrị ọnụ ma dịrị mma nke ukwuu. Gbalubia na Halibis Mall. Nnọọ.
Bonanza, bonanza, bonanza. Manufacturers, take. SMEs, take. Importers, take. Papa and mama, take.
What about me?
My pikin, you're protected. Everybody is protected. SON is organizing a stakeholders meeting on the SON Act 2015. Venue, Merit House, Maitama, Abuja. The date is Tuesday, 13th March. Time, 10 a.m. prompt. Business community, importers, SMEs, traders, and the general public are cordially invited. Come and see how you are protected by the Standard Organization of Nigeria 2015 Act. SON, improving life through standards.
Human Rights Radio.
Join our diverse team of legal experts as we provide education and guidance to you, our listeners, on a broad array of issues raised by the modern legal landscape, absolutely free on Probono Chambers, airing on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, redefining broadcasting.
Human Rights Radio.
And of course, we're back. We never went anywhere, actually. And Probono Chambers continues. We are looking at the right to potable water as a fundamental human right. But it's about time we open up the phone line so you get to call in and ask questions if you have any. Right now on the program, the number is 081-8999-1011. Do remember to turn off your radio when you call in. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Nice work.
Very well, thank you.
Talking with Jamil from Opposing D.
All right, Jamil, nice to hear from you. Hope your weekend was good.
Yeah, it's good. But it was short,
Yeah, it has to.
Yeah. So, the experience you had, like, using your hand to cup water from the tap and drink, mine is too crazy. We put our mouth to the tap and draw it like it will never come back again. As in, we draw, as in, it was good.
I'm sure you enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, very well. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
Issue of water is life, and being our right to have water and everything. But my question here is, I got confused whenever as a layman, and whenever I heard something like right, we have right to movement without restriction, right to quality education. Is all this right? Are they supposed to be free, or we are supposed to pay for it? That is one.
Okay.
And two, if we are supposed to pay for it, which are we supposed to pay, and which is it supposed to be free for us? That is two. And the third question is, if, for example, a water board is billing me, let's say, an estimation of 10,000 naira per a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means that they provide me a service that I should pay, and which they promise to give me an uninterrupted water supply for a period of 30 days or 31 before I pay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So what in the case of, within the period of a month, and I experienced a water failure of, like, let's say 7 days, am I supposed to pay for the complete month? Because that is fair for them to service me. They're supposed to have a deduction from me, giving them. Right?
Yeah.
So please, I want your barrister to claim on these three issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jamil.
Yeah.
All right. So we're talking about right to water as a fundamental human right, and looking at the fundamental human right, we once addressed it as those inherent rights that we possess as human beings, that are entitled to us as human beings. Now, there are also constraints that protect us from the arbitrary exercise of power by states. That is another way to define the human rights. Now, if we're talking about our right to water as potable water as a fundamental human right, it does not necessarily mean that it's a right to free consumption of water provided by states to you without any form of payment, as your fundamental human right. That's not what we mean. What we mean is we're talking about your right to safe and clean water.
Which you will pay for.
Which you will pay for at a reasonable sum, as a necessity of life, or as a support to adequate standard of living. That is what we are focusing on. Now, you said you had paid the water board for a supply of water for a period of time, and then there was an interruption in the supply of such water. You should also, most times when you go to have an agreement with this water board to supply you with water, tend to look at whatever their terms and conditions are as an organization supplying you with
Do you
such
really go
water.
to negotiate?
You don't you,
when
you, you
and
can
how
negotiate. You can negotiate, yeah.
Mm.
But sometimes what happens is that they already have a particular sum to build a house before you enter into the house. Now, most times for a person to allow the state organization that supplies them with a particular source to do that, the landlord, for instance, has already understood the terms and conditions, which include sometimes interruption of such supplies for maintenance purposes. So if you don't understand that, you should go and ask them as a tenant or as a resident in such city where you find yourself. You have a right to know why your water should be interrupted once in a while. And if they're having problems, you should be told on time. You should be notified on time. But if they're not having problems and then it was done for maintenance purposes, you have a right to also know about that. So you can go and ask them such questions.
I mean,
However,
unlike
we talked about if you're
Okay.
to pay less for such interruptions. Now, when you ask such questions, you will know the kind of agreement you should be having with the
is
organization.
it pay as you use? So if it's
Water-
pay as you use, then
Water is not same as light. I don't think water is pay as
Yeah.
you use. You pay at the end of the month for
they have a certain type of metering too. They
they have a
do,
metering
yeah,
that
so-
regulates the supply of water, and for them not to charge you excessive bills. So I'm sure the bills they charge, it's reasonable enough to encompass
Usually it
all of
is.
these issues that would arise from time to time. Now, I don't think there's any organization that makes any of those supplies for necessity of life, like power and water and the sewage organizations, that come to clean the sewage systems. I don't think there's any of them that do not have interruption in Nigeria. So there's no organization that would offer you such services in perfection, as long as you stay or you live in this country. That is one thing you should know first. But if you must know why such interruptions occur, especially when it occurs for a lengthy period of time, you should go and make inquiries why it's happening that way, and then you'll be told what is going on if you're the only person that is affected or you're affected in group. So that is my advice.
Well, so far they seem to be the only sector till lately. I mean, though it's been a while, I heard, but at least they're the ones that would still make an announcement and say, "Oh, tomorrow between the hours of blah blah
This
blah,
is
or
there
for
won't
this
be
number of
water."
days there
Yeah,
won't be water."
sometimes they always do,
Unlike
they give
NEPA,
notifications.
very very disrespectful. Like seriously,
take light
NEPA
for
is just too
24
disrespectful.
hours, yeah.
I think
without
without
telling us what
prior-
happened.
So I mean, I think that the
Exactly.
day we will experience that, oh my goodness, we'll go to the moon and back to hear an announcement like seriously, and if only it will happen just once in a while. But then we are so used to the darkness. Okay, we will not get used to it. We refuse to get used to it. All right, it's Probono Chambers. If you have more questions on the topic or any other topic at all that has anything to do with legal matters, feel free to call in and ask your questions. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Ruth.
Good morning to you. Welcome to Probono Chambers. What's your name?
This is Brother Ignatius Sekeri calling.
Brother Ignatius. Yes, let's hear you.
God bless you, my sister. I love staying indoors to listen to Brekete and X-ray and the Probono Chamber.
Oh,
Thank
Before I
that's
went
good.
to the store.
Good morning.
Before I went to the store, I'm grateful. And I have
Okay.
this question to ask.
Okay.
If a son whom his inmates went to the university, and by the grace of God, he finished his university and went to the youth corps, and he came back home, nothing. Why his inmates, some of them get something to write home about, to put them in remembrance, or to remember when they serve this nation, Some of them buy platform, what do you call it? A nice answer for themselves. Some of them buy laptops to themselves.
Okay.
Just to remember when they serve the nation. And this boy comes back home without nothing. You see, what an advice are you to give? Because I know that from three things I learned from Human Rights Radio, there was something you must gain a day. That is why I do stay indoors to listen to them. What an advice to give such a fellow. Thank you and God bless you, ma.
All right, Brother Ignatius, thank you so much.
I think this is rather a domestic issue, but I'll advise you as a woman, not as a lawyer right now. So he's talking about someone coming back from NYC and coming back empty-handed without bringing something home, that this is what I achieved from NYC. Sometimes it's not about the tangible and the very physical thing, that we are expecting from such persons who go to serve the nation. And as the economy is right now, I don't think people can even afford to buy such tangible things to show them, because going for NYC is actually going to serve your country, not going for a business they say business pursuit or
how
some
much
form
is
of
the government,
I think it's
giving to them,
19,800, which would
and
suffice as their
depending on where they are, transportation, feeding, and all
feeding
that,
and accommodation. So most times, what you might be expecting from such candidates, if it's your son or your relative, physically, might not be what they bring back home physically. They might also have experiences from wherever they are coming from. They might have even learned new languages or new ways of life that would improve them in the future. So I'm sorry, Sir,
or
Mr.
maybe other source of income.
Exactly. So they might even learn a skill that they could use to earn before they get a job to work with. So don't be expecting anything physical from a person who just finished from the NYC. Just stay and
it's not entirely a bad thing to actually be able to, have something to show for it, but then it's not also all that easy.
It's not that easy. It's not mandatory.
Depending on who the person is and the circumstances. So we can't really say for sure, but thank you for sharing that. I know someone who, at the end of the day, just bought a pickup. He was like, okay, I just have to manage and buy this pickup. Let there just be something I remember. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
I want
Sorry.
Okay, it was actually very noisy. So if you can just move base, shift base or whatever, just move away from there and see if you can call back. And I hope we'll have more clarity when you do. 081-8999-1011. It's Probono Chambers. If you have questions, call in and the barrister will provide answers to you. Very, very legitimate answers, of course. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Okay, my name is Chibweze. There was a day, last 2 weeks, I called you about a lady that I wanted to marry. After giving birth to my child, the mother carried her. They wanted to now they are trying to give her to another man to marry.
Yes.
I said that I should be trying to be sending money to train up to take care of the child.
Yes.
Yes, I've been doing. I've been sending money even before then.
Okay.
Then the lady just called me and said I should stop sending money to her. Because I send her money every week. I will send like 2,000 or 3,000 every week.
Okay.
So she said I should stop sending money. I asked her why. She didn't give me any reason. Now since then she has not been picking my calls. Even the mother, they are not picking my calls.
Okay. That's not a problem then. That is not a problem.
Okay.
If she wants to solely take responsibility for the child, even if the law has stated that both of you should be responsible for the child, then that's not a problem. Allow her. But then she can't deny you access to the child. You still have a right to go and see the child whenever you want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Chiboeze, thank you for calling.
That's less work for you.
Less work, I don't agree. she should put it in writing, because it's a plot. That's what I think, actually. Because
Whatever
tomorrow
phone
she's gonna say when he comes to
whatever
claim
phone conversations they've had or messages,
when
she
he wants
just
to
keep
claim
it.
child, she'd be like, brother, you never did anything, forgetting that she actually made him stop. Though I don't see her sending the money back to him if
She
he
can't put it in
if
writing
he
and she
was
put
to
it in form
continue.
of text. That's
Yeah.
fine.
So, bros, please let her put it in writing. We don't want.
I just send her a text demanding why she should stop you from paying or being responsible for your child.
Supporting.
Exactly. So if she doesn't reply you, at least you've sent a message that shows she stopped.
Interesting. 08189991011 is Probono Chambers. If you have further questions or follow-ups, you want to tell us how things are going based on some other advice you may have received here on this platform, well, we're here for you. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Hello. Good morning once more.
Okay.
This is Jamil coming back.
All right.
Yeah. And, well, from the explanation, I quite understood. That means I need to go back to my water board office and my name, because, the power holding company too normally gave me an estimated bill, because they told me that my meter is set to come, right? So that means I need to go back. Let's draw an agreement with them if they are going to give me an uninterrupted supply of the water and the power. But it's also because this is where
Jamil,
I know
wait,
my right.
That's not what I said.
This is Nigeria. Don't even start what you can't.
That's what I said. That's
Who's
not
going
what I
to
said.
give you uninterrupted water supply? Let's even start with water.
I'm coming. I understood.
That's not what I advise you to do.
But I mean, we need to start from somewhere. We need to take up the challenge.
Oh, yes, you can go and ask why your water is interrupted. You'll be told. But I know from time to time they always make notices available for their consumers.
That's what they will tell me.
Let him exercise his right. He wants to have an experience.
Right.
So
just try and be safe for doing that.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
So I just want to take a solo move. Let me see what they will tell me, and let me just exercise my right.
Okay, yes. So try it. We'll be right here waiting.
I just want to give them a shot. That if we are both agreed and it was subsequently or unimaginably, as in my power or my water got short without me my prior notice and everything. I have to record the minutes and time and hours it takes me to get another one, right? Yeah. So at the end of the month, I will sum everything and pay them the balance. Okay. I think let me just try and see how they will just drag it together. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Please get back to us on that. We want to know what the outcome is.
We definitely want to know how it will turn out. Really uninterrupted water and power supply.
Not possible.
So we look forward to that time. Really, we do.
Not possible.
Hello? Could you please turn off your radio?
I've done that.
Thank you. What's your name, please?
My name is J. Williams.
What?
J. Williams is my name.
J. Williams.
Please, can you be a bit audible?
Yeah, I'm trying to be. I'm not too strong. Sorry.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, sorry about that.
Can you hear me now? Thank you.
Okay, yep.
Like I said, I'm a first-time caller.
Okay.
And it's especially interesting, this type of radio and their program. The exploitation going on in this country is becoming too much for the poor masses. So please, I pray for you so that you can widen your, school so that others, many who will be taking the advantage. So you have help. I want to talk about NEPA. You have to in the name, but I mean the NEPA bill. Everywhere I go, I hear murmuring and lamentations. When I talk of myself, they will give you bill, print, as in 100 naira, for instance. And they will take bill to write 200 naira, say pay before so date. please, can you advise me on what to do as my right for these supplies? Talk less of when there's no light and still after 1 month they'll still bring you bill. Is there any remedy there?
Okay. I'll advise you.
All right, thank you.
Sorry. So, from my experience in the AEDC, that's the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, they said if you're not having a meter to regulate your usage of lights every month, they have a specific charge for such persons for every light you have used and every of your appliances connected to the light for the month. So that charge is a fixed charge for such consumers. Then for the consumers who have meters, they are regulated. It's pay as you go. So you load your light and use it as much as you load it. So, well, if you're having problems, like you just stated, that you're given a particular bill, since you don't have a meter, you're given a particular bill, and then when you go to the office, the AAD's office, they tell you that it's estimated to an amount higher than what you've been given, then you should complain to the customer service. They have a customer service that will attend to you and explain to you the way their bills are estimated or the way their bills are calculated for your light usage, whether you have light or not. I guess there's a way they do that there. So just go to the customer service, your nearest AEDC office, and make your complaints.
Okay. I hope that answers the question for him. All right, we have room for more calls. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Ayo.
Okay, Ayo. Welcome.
I'm calling from Cuba.
All right, Ayo, your voice is a bit distant. Can you try to be more audible?
I said I'm calling from Cuba.
Okay, we're listening.
Please, I want to ask a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, in 1984, I was moving with a lady. So that time, I have lost my parents. So she was then. And there a bumpy baby there then. So I didn't know that she had someone whom she was dating. But she told me that I was the owner of that baby. Then I said, I don't want a baby then. So now I met her just in about a month. And she told me that I should come and collect my daughter. So I don't know what to do. Is it possible for me?
You should come and collect.
Yeah.
He should come for his daughter, she said.
Okay.
So you want to find out if it's possible for you to get the child, who is now an adult?
Yes.
How old is the child?
She should be in her 30s. 80. Sorry, when did you have the child?
The woman gave birth to that child in 1984 when I was in class 1.
Okay. All right.
Okay, but do you want the child?
She's no longer a child, the adult.
It's child.
From what
Sorry?
I heard,
yes.
From what I heard, the man whom the lady was with, they have no child other than that girl.
So you want to leave the child for them?
I do. That's why I call.
No, you need to know what you want. You're sure it's your child. You're
She's no
sure
longer
of that.
a child. So the contest of wanting to leave the child or giving
let's
you the
use
child.
daughter now. If since she's female,
it's not.
I think we lost that call.
Yeah, it's not.
No, he's not
realistic.
sounding like he knows what he wants. I mean, I don't get it. What he asked is if it's possible. Is it possible for him to get? I mean, the lady in question here. The lady in question just called him and said, I mean, they met, yes, recently, that, okay, come and carry your child, your daughter. You don't want me to use the word child.
Because she's no longer a child.
Okay, so come and carry your daughter. Now,
I'm sure that was just a malicious statement, but the thing is, now that the girl is an adult, she's a woman, she's not just an adult. She has a right to decide which of the parents she wants to be with. But then the man, if he has to accept her, they should go for a DNA test to ascertain that he is the father of
that is the
lady.
Caller.
Yeah, the caller. Yeah, to ascertain that he's the father of the lady, in order to, accept her into his home as his daughter. But he cannot. They cannot push her around because she's an adult. So if it's her will to be with her father, then he can proceed for a DNA test. If it's her will to be with her mother, then that's fine, So in this context, she's not a child. She's an adult. She's old enough to make her decision herself.
I have an opinion here, and I don't know if anybody cares what my opinion. I know it doesn't even matter at all.
What's your opinion?
But I don't know. I don't see a problem here. Like, that's why I'm asking him, because he doesn't sound like he even wants to meet this person. He doesn't want to.
If he doesn't want to meet the person,
of course, the person is an adult. Yes,
that's fine.
So, but I mean, it's your child, and they're telling you about it now, and I just don't get it. Really, I don't get why. Why would he tell us that the couple does not have, they don't have any child aside his daughter?
So he wants to leave the daughter there.
Yeah, like, excuse me,
that's what I'm saying. Now it's not within the will of the parents to decide where the daughter stays. The daughter decides where she stays.
Okay, I'm just being emotional about this. Like,
That's
I want to feel.
So it's not emotional. It's the law.
I want to feel him express a need to meet his child. I think that's
he's
just
not interested,
and that hurts.
That he's not interested. Now the only way she can find herself into his life where he's not interested is where he has such properties that she has interest in. Then they would go further to do a DNA test, and then she can claim her rights as to her portion of his properties.
I know she's an adult. She can choose at this point, but
that's why she's not.
I was just hoping for like a kind of reunion. Him wanting to have a reunion.
No, so the advice I'll give to you, man, it's your daughter is old enough to make decisions for herself. You cannot, out of your own will, or your wife out of her own will, push her to either of the parents. Now she's old enough to make decisions of where she wants to be. Perhaps she should even be in her husband's house.
I mean, yeah, she's in her 30s.
Not being pushed around, but you both should allow her make her decision herself. If she's insisting you're her father and she wants to be with you, if you're not sure she's your daughter, you can proceed for a DNA test to ascertain if you're related to her or not. Then if you're not, you tell her you don't want to be her father. She can go and contest it in court that she wants to be with you.
I don't think she'll be needy, of anything physical at this point, but at least just the whole fatherly thing. And
so your wife cannot impose an adult on you. That's just it.
Yeah. Neither can he impose himself on her as well.
Exactly. That's it.
Okay, but I just wanted a reunion. As if it's my business. All right. One final call. Hello. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
My name is Solomon.
Solomon, welcome.
Yes, from Utaku.
Okay, well,
good morning, Solomon.
Please, I want to ask this question. I have apartments which I handed back to a lawyer to manage for me.
You gave who to manage?
Yeah, to manage for me. Because I'm not living in that same place where the apartment is.
Okay.
So each time she'll be calling me to come down before she could even talk to the tenant. She could not do anything on her own. And just last month, I went to her office and asked her to bring the file. Let us know those who are owing, those whose rent is due for renewal. And then she said she has lost the file. And even before this time, I've not been satisfied with her service. So I don't know what to do. Because as it stands now, I want to I don't need her service again. What should I do?
Okay. Thank you for calling.
All right, Solomon, listen in.
Just listen. So you have a right to a change of lawyer, but before that, you have to terminate your contract with the already existing lawyer. Your right to her, put it in writing that you don't want her services anymore. So that when you're engaging another person, whatever positions you want the person to hold in service of you or in service of your estate, it's clearly defined and uninterrupted. So usually before a lawyer can assume that position like you gave to her, you should have given her a letter of authority recognizing that she is your lawyer, and then she would be taking care of your property. That would enable her to have a relationship with your tenants, acting on your behalf. So all of that, you will state it in your letter to withdraw her services from your estate so that you can pass it on to another lawyer. That is what you can do.
Yeah. Before she started, she obtained letter of attorney from court.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'm grateful.
You're welcome.
God bless you.
You're welcome.
You too. And that's it from the calls we're picking on Probono Chambers this morning. Do we have any additions? But I am tempted to pick this final call.
Please
Let's make this a final call. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Morning.
Morning.
How are you? Ooh. Okay, I had to say how are you because she was also sounding a bit down. Since we've opted for a final call, I will just have to wait for a final call at this point. Let's see who gets here, and hopefully we don't have to talk for so long looking at the time left for us on the program. 081-8999-1011. That is the number to call on Probono Chambers if you have questions to ask based on our conversation so far or any other matter that involves anything legal. Feel free to call in. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Jay Williams calling back.
All right.
Yeah, I think I'm not too satisfied with what the explanation you gave me. I didn't understand my question.
Okay.
My question is, if AEDC gives printed bill at 100 naira, and on the bill, somebody used bureau to say, you now pay 200 naira. The printed one was 100 naira, and there's big handwriting, handwritten 200 naira, and they say pay before Sunday. And they count your payment based on the handwritten one. I'm asking, is that the correct thing to do to customers?
No.
That's my question there.
Yes, and my answer is this, that if you see such printed bills, you should go to their office and challenge it. Meet the customer service, yes, and ask why the bill is not all printed. Why there's a handwriting in a biro, estimating the bill to another bill other than what you have. They would explain to you, because I'm sure they always have bills printed every month. If there's going to be any alterations, it should come in a printout. But if there was any alteration done with a handwritten biro, you should question it at the customer service in their office. I'm sure they will respond to that.
So even if they give him explanations as to why that was written by hand,
He
they
should
print
demand
it.
for a printout, yeah.
Okay. So we will demand for a printout.
Demand for a printout. That's for record purposes.
Yeah.
So that someone will not divert your payment into their pockets, and then you won't be able to stand and
Okay. Many thanks to our callers for calling in, sitting in, and listening to us. Thank you so much for doing that. We'll do this again tomorrow, God willing, and we promise to give you a lot of time so you can call in and ask your questions, because it's largely about you on this program. And many thanks always to our in-house barrister Adanda for always being on point.
Thank you very much, Ruth.
Thanks to Ruth as well. Well, I'll be back in the 11 o'clock hour, even if you don't want to thank me.
Thank you very much, Ruth.
All right. I'll be back in the 11 o'clock hour on Media Lab. Do stay with us and don't go anywhere.
Human Rights Radio.
Join our diverse team of legal experts as we provide education.
You see, this life, if to say God go open person eye, make you see. You see, this life, if to say God go open person eye, make you see the favor, the blessings, and the